Hey everyone, Sheila here from Life with Pets. So last week we started setting up our 125 gallon tank, so let's continue with the process. So we've decided that we're going to try and use some of the material that we use for the dividers. This is it. This is a piece that we have actually bent to see if we could sort of come up with a way of holding in the sand into these bits here. We're wanting to be able to put sand in here and also sand in the one over here. And obviously we're wanting to try and get it that we don't end up with the substrate that's going to be in here getting into over here. So the sand that we're going to be using, we didn't actually show it at the beginning, is the National Geographic. We absolutely love this sand. So this is the one that we're going to use. I don't know if we're going to have enough because we've just decided last minute to use the sand. You would not believe how long we have spent planning this out. We've spent hours trying to come up with what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. So the idea on this one is it will go all the way to the back of the tank, but on this side we're going to sort of cut it off and then maybe do a little rock over the end of it. So this is what we've got so far. You'll have to excuse the glare on the tank, but this is what we've got so far, and hopefully this will look good. The tank is a 125 gallon tank, and we did end up using 3 bags of the Eco Complete, and these were £20 bags, and then we did also use 2 bags of the Fluval over the top of this, and they were both £17 bags. So it did take quite a lot of substrate, but we did get a really good layer with that, and it was more than enough to put the plants in and to make sure that there was enough depth for them. When filling the tank, boy did that take an awful long time. For filling our tanks, what we use is a pipe, and that pipe will then run into a bucket, and in the bucket we then have the pond pump, and then that pumps the water into the tank. So thankfully we don't need to do buckets and stuff like that. We don't use the Python siphons simply because they don't fit very well on our taps, so it's just easier for us to do it this way, and we do that with all our tanks, especially the ones around the kitchen sink. They are so quick and easy to do. We did time how long this took to fill, and let me tell you, it was a long time. So as you see, we did create the little sections with no substrate in. How well that works obviously remains to be seen. We added a rock over the top, and the fish can then get through and underneath it, so hopefully that gives them a place of safety. In the middle we do plan on leaving it fairly open, and then at the other end we've done the same thing again, and they can get again underneath that rock and out the other side. I don't know whether you can see there, but there is some substrate back there, but there is also an opening for them to get out. By using the little bucket to fill the tank, we didn't make the water too murky, but oh boy, once we started adding in the plants, that was a whole different story. It really did kick up. It was the Fluval stratum more than anything else, but usually whenever we've used this, the filter takes care of it in no time at all, so we weren't too worried about it. It just didn't look very good. The fish did very well in the other tank, considering this tank, this is the 75 gallon, which all the fish are coming out of, and obviously all the plants have come out of. The fish did cope very, very well with them taken out. We did feed them fairly heavily before putting them into the new tank, and that was simply because we didn't want to feed in this tank maybe for a day or two, just to make sure that it settled okay. Guys, look at the crazy root growth on these plants. These are the ones we've pulled out of the 75 gallon. They are Crypt Wenti, and we've actually separated the plants, and out of one plant I think we got sort of like 3 new plants In this tank, we are going to keep the planting very simple, Crypt Wentis and a lot of Anubias. As many of you know, we like to keep our planted tanks very simple. We don't do high tech. All we do is use root tabs to feed the plants, and this way it just keeps things very, very simple and easy, good lighting, and your plants will be really healthy. So this is the finished look, and as you can see, we haven't filled in down here yet. We're still not sure what we're going to do with it. We were going to put sand in, but we've left it without anything, and as you can see, the fish have been very busy pushing over the substrate into there. We were going to do sand, but now having seen the mess that is down there, we've decided that that is probably not a good option because we will be forever cleaning it. We also have the same down here. The fish absolutely love going down and under there. They hide under there. They can actually get out the back here. You can see substrate, but there is actually a hole back there. And also the same on this one here, behind that rock there is a hole so they can actually get out. So we're still not certain. I'm thinking maybe a very fine natural coloured gravel, but again we're not really too certain about that, but we are happy with the overall effect. The fish do absolutely love it. We do need to sort out lighting. It isn't very bright at all. We have added the light from the 75 gallon, so this big one at the back is from the 75 gallon, and the plants seem to be doing okay. We have had a little die off and sort of melting back, but that could just be because we have uprooted the plant, so it might just be that that's the case, but again we're not too sure. We did put 2 heaters in the tank. There is one at this end, and then you can't really see the one at the other end, but there is one in the back at the other end. We did 2 200 watt heaters. We didn't want to do just the one heater just in case it failed, and at this time of year we do need a heater in the tank. Usually we don't need heaters, but we do at this time of the year, and so we put the 2 in, and it has heated it to no issues whatsoever. I think the tank is sitting at about 80 degrees. The filtration, we have used the canister filter, and we've just put it on this end of the tank, and then the canister is actually in one of the cupboards, so that tidies it away really nicely. And as this is in our living room, then it is good that there's virtually no noise from it. The other filtration we've added is just like the 75 gallon. We've done just a big sponge filter at the other end, and that really was more for water movement, just to create some at this end. The filter that we've got on, I will leave links to everything I can in the description box below, but the filter that we've got on is a Sun. We've been using it now for about 2.5 years, absolutely love it, and I think it's the 525 gallon per hour one. I think it's the 304 HB, but I'm not certain on that. I will leave a link to it if I can find one in the description box below. So the filtration is more than enough for this tank. So this here, having the sponge filter, is really just more about water flow and sort of creating a bit of flow at that end of the tank. So I'm just going to put some food in the tank. That is why they're all going crazy right now, because they have very quickly learned where I feed. So I'm just going to put that in and let them go super crazy. And I want to just quickly talk about cycling the tank. I'm a little concerned that people will think obviously we've just set this tank up and then we're putting fish in, and especially this many fish. The filter that we are using on this tank was on our 75 gallon, so it was fully cycled. What we did choose to do is to move some of the water across from the 75 gallon. Now that had nothing to do with the water being cycled, because water is not cycled, it is the filter that cycles. However, we did it because we knew that the pH would drop considerably because we were using fluval stratum, and that is what fluval stratum does. It does bring the pH down somewhat, and also we were concerned in that it would have been like doing a 100% water change, and obviously that is not ideal. I I think we brought across about 40 gallons of water, 30 to 40, and these fish, as at the time of you watching this, have been in this tank now for 2.5 weeks. I have monitored the water parameters very, very carefully, and we've had no spikes, we've had nothing. Everything has been absolutely fantastic, so no issues whatsoever. We did add in, as I'm sure some of you will have noticed, we did add in the clown barbs, which are the orange and black fish. We did get some more because we did find that having just the, I think we had 7 originally, was not enough. They were biting at each other like crazy. So I contacted Dan and he sent me some more. Now, they have been through quarantine. We did use General Cure and erythromycin to quarantine them, and they're doing absolutely fantastic. In fact, I don't know if I can get up close on one because right now we're still in feeding frenzy mode, but the sort of white edges that you can see every now and again on the fins is actually the fins healing, and so I do think that adding more to the group has definitely helped. We're still undecided whether we're going to put the black on the ends. At the moment, the puffers are not doing too much surfing at all. They are doing a little. We're going to give it a little time before we make a definite decision, but if we need to, then we will add the black onto this end and also onto this end here. But like I say, at the moment, there is not too much surfing going on, and so we're going to give them a chance before we do black out the ends. We're also not sure if we're going to leave the tree in. We might actually take that out and do a big piece of driftwood, and also maybe a big piece of driftwood in the other end of the tank as well, hoping that when I go to Aquashella that I can maybe find something like that that would be really, really good for this tank. So this may not be the final look. We may change it up and improve on it as time goes by, but initially, just because of the just overall expense of the project, we decided to go with what we already had, and then at a later date, like I say, we can then change it up and maybe take things out and add other things as well. So there you have it. That is the way that the tank looks at the moment. We probably are going to replace these 2 sets of cubes here. They don't particularly match what we've got going on in the living room. This has definitely become our new television. We sit and watch this so much. I am so glad that we have put it in here. A lot of people keep asking, are we going to keep the 75 gallon? At the moment, we haven't fully decided. We think we're going to keep it, but we're not too sure. We do actually have some fish in it so that it stays cycled, and we do also have a lot of snails in it, so that is keeping it cycled as well. We've just added some pre-cycled sponge filters in there, and that will keep it going until we make a final decision. So let me know in the comments box below what you think of the tank. Thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed to our channel, then go ahead and do so. We've got lots more tank projects coming up over the next few weeks. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and the notification bell. All right guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.